Hey, what's going on, my beautiful people? Beautiful people. Let me get set up here real quick. Hopefully, you guys can hear me well. Got my ticker running today, just in case you guys feel so inclined to donate to the channel, or if you want to join my email newsletter. I send out newsletters every Friday. And what I do on those newsletters is I kind of give the most relevant video for the week, or the provide one of the videos that I feel is like one of my more powerful videos. And also I answer email news questions. If you are joining the email list, if you've emailed me and it hasn't been a paid email session, sometimes I randomly pick those. Well, every Wednesday, every Friday, I pick those emails and I answer those for you, because if you're going to join my email newsletter, then I want to give back to you guys as well. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me or not. Normally I have some issues. Christy Ford, I feel blessed that I can do that for you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. And I was listening to this whole playback the other day, and it's really annoying when I'm drinking this water. And I think I need to start putting less ice in it, so it's not so abrupt and abrasive. If you guys are on Facebook, you do me a huge favor. If you bounce over to YouTube, you should have the link. If you're on my Facebook page, bounce over here. And I got 3 things I want to give you guys today. 3 conditions on whether or not you should break no contact first. And I can come up with a number of these things, but I feel like those 3, that if you're just having this burning desire to reach out to this person, if you're feeling some type of way about being in total radio silence with this person, here's 3 conditions where I feel you can reach out to that person, because realistically, it's actually up to you. If we're talking tennis, the ball is hit over in your court right now, and it's up to you to reach out to them first. I actually have a client I was talking to, and I think I should add a 4th one to this. So a bonus footage, even after I went ahead and made this feed, I have a bonus one too. I'll put that in the last one. All right, that's going to be the last one is going to be the 4th one. And let me write it down real quick here just so I remember. All right. Thank you for being here, people. I appreciate you guys. And I love you as always. If this is your first time viewing me, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. Get the numbers up, like the feed so we can boost the analytics and get more people in here. Happy Thursday. I'm glad to see you guys. I really appreciate all you that bring value to the community, that give me content to help other people. You guys ask really good questions. You ask powerful questions. And when we're going through this journey of healing, this journey of relationships, I actually just posted a quote on Instagram today. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I am very active on there. And what I posted on there was, all right, I think this is a good one here. I posted, when someone that's emotionally unavailable makes you emotionally unstable, time to detach. Or I'll say that again. When someone that's emotionally unavailable makes you emotionally unstable, it's time for you to detach. I am all about getting in there, putting in your best effort, doing as much as you can in order for a person to, see you in a different light, or see that you have the ability to show up for them, and you have the ability to keep yourself centered and keep yourself composed when things start to fall apart, when that whole abandonment wound starts to spark up. If you guys can't comment, just so you guys know, I limited the comments to people who are subscribers. So if you're a subscriber and you're not able to comment, that's probably why. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like the feed. I only see 3 likes in here. Like the feed. It's a lot of people in here. So help me get it up. And as soon as I get up to a certain number, then I'm going to go ahead and start my content for today. I got 4 now. It's 4. It was 3. Like the feed. All right. If I can get 10 likes, I'm going to start. That's it. 10 likes. If you guys don't know how to like the feed, we got to work on that. Right. We got to do some YouTube one-on-one in here. That's nothing. 10 is nothing. Great quote. Thank you, studio. Thank you, Christy. Got 2 Christies in here today. Where are you guys from? Let me know where you're from. I am in Wisconsin. Everyone's always confused because they feel that I'm in LA. They always ask, what part of California, what part of LA you in? I'm like, I'm actually not from California. So I think that's funny when I'm in my sessions and they're like, you're in LA, right? No, I'm actually in Wisconsin. Appreciate it, Venom. All right. Same Christy as Christy. Whoa. All right, so you bounced over. Oh, very clever there. All right. So we got one Christy that's bouncing from feed to feed. I appreciate that. See, you actually follow through what I asked to do. That's actually pretty cool. 10 likes. All right, it's time for action. All right, so here's 3 reasons and a bonus as why I feel a person should reach out. This is 3 conditions. Up until then, if it's an unhealthy relationship, if it's toxic, if I tell people like, hey, you dodged the bullets, good riddance, wipe your hands, cleanse your hands of that person. New Orleans, welcome. Florida, welcome. Then these are the reasons. The first one is you've done something to push them too far away. And what I mean by push them too far away, which is, let's say you triggered them, you flooded them with emotions. You couldn't control yourself, check their phones, you cheated on them, you give me more reasons why a person would be pushed far away. If we're talking someone that's more avoidant, then all you have to do to push them away is basically be a little bit too overbearing, try to commit to them too quickly. They operate very slow. Bermuda, welcome. Bermuda Triangle. Nice. They operate a little bit slower. So you want to make sure that they feel completely safe and comfortable with you before you try to have that conversation about exclusivity. You don't want to do it too quickly. So if you knew that you were moving along too quick, let's say that you were trying to get them into a commitment within the first 2 months or a month. Let's be honest. There's people out there that try to get people locked down within the first 2 weeks. And if they were to have some type of intimate session together, then they automatically, in a relationship. But honestly, it doesn't work that way. You have to be on the same page. You have to discuss these things before you go and you make these assumptions. There was a client that I had where I had plenty of these clients where they'll say, we were in a relationship for 2 weeks. And then I'm like, whoa, pause. 2 weeks. That's not a relationship. You don't even know that person. If you are someone who get into a relationship within that 2 weeks, then you might want to check yourself and say, why do I feel like I need to get locked down, period? Like, even think about yourself. Why do I want to be in a relationship with someone after 2 weeks? That lets you know that you're in this scarcity mindset. And the scarcity mindset is a horrific place to live. We should be living in the abundance mindset, all right? Which is basically knowing your worth, knowing what you have to bring to the table. If you're someone you have a lot to offer in a relationship, you should not be trying to get into a relationship within the first 2 weeks. But I digress on that one. If you've done something, recapping, number 1, if you've done something that pushed them too far away, like you said, Christy, clingy. If you got too clingy too quickly, if you try to get them in a committed relationship too quickly, if you were pushing their boundaries, if you were going through their phone, if you were showing up at their house unannounced, I would consider that pushing them too far away. Anyone will have an issue with that. Anyone that has boundary issues is a huge red flag for a lot of people, because our space, I don't care who you are, what type of attachment you have, is sacred. You allow that person to come into your life. You allow that person to be part of it. It's not like an automatic given, and this was something that I had to realize myself, because it's almost like, especially when you're married, you really have to understand that too. You're married to someone, but you don't own them. All right. They're not your property. We still have free will. We still have our individuality. And when they decide to say, hey, this doesn't work anymore, sure, there is fighting for something to a degree and to a certain point. But if you We're going to get to that later on. I'm not even going to give that one away. That's number 3. You didn't accept the breakup and you give it to them. Right, because you want to you want to let them know that, hey, this was fun, but I don't need you. I want you in my life. You add an addition, like you are, I wouldn't say accessory, but that's kind of diminishing a good connection. But I would say you are a enhancement to my life. What do you think about that? You enhance my life, but I don't need you. If you need that person, then you may be struggling with this little style called anxious attachment or codependency or whatever that may be. All right, so after that first one, love you, Coach Court. Married to a dismissive male, been separated for 3 months. I sent a text today, but no response. He read my text, but still no response. Going back to no contact. Stay strong, warrior. Stay strong. You planted a good seed in this life. You planted a fruitful seed. This is why I call this business, I named this business Fruitful Seeds. You planted a seed. You don't know if it's going to sprout into anything, but the more that you just do these things, you're pouring into his bucket. You're pouring into his love tank, they will say, and you're not asking for anything in return, right? And that's a good center place to be. And I'm not saying completely make yourself look like, you know what, but if you're pouring into them and the intentions is right, because this is what you want to get your intentions in alignment with what's healthy, right? You don't want to have this manipulative, because let's be honest, people who are anxious attachers, we have the tendency to manipulate a little bit. So you want to make sure that your intentions are well and they're coming from a good place. Number 2, it's been at least 6 weeks since you've talked to this person. All right, we're talking straight no contact, because people are wondering, they say, hey, what do you mean by no contact? Is it from the last time we spoke, the last time I reached out to them, the last when we broke up? What's the no contact period start? This no contact period starts the moment that you had your last word with that person, right? And that's whether you send a text message to them. If they don't respond, guess what? That starts all over. The no contact period starts all over, because you're still breaking that contact. And I don't, if you go back in my other videos, I don't like the whole no contact rule. I like the self-discovery rule, because doing no contact, you should be discovering yourself. You should try to figure out who you are, what makes you tick. Most people, they get to my channel because they're looking for how to get their ex back, how to do this and that. But then they say, you know what? There is something wrong with this person I was with, or this person had a unhealthy communication skills. They didn't have a whole lot of healthy relationship history. But then the lens get turned back on you, and you're like, wait a minute, they have all those issues, but I do too. Now what's wrong with me? And that's where the healing begins. That's where the personal development begins. That's where the growth begins. So it's a self-discovery rule. It's been 6 weeks since you've talked to this person. Then I would say, go ahead, reach out to them, see how they're doing, check in on them. And then I have a whole process that we go through, depending on the situation and the cases. Everyone is different. Some people it's like, all right, this is pretty much clear that you should not be trying to pursue this person. And other people, it's more along the lines of, all right, I know I didn't show up the best way. They knew it. They were repeatedly saying it. And I ended up not, living up to what I could have lived up to. So they just want another chance to get back into the arena and get that opportunity. All right, so 10 likes. Can we get some more likes, please? We're going to get to number 3 now, because I got 4. Can we get some more likes? Appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to recap before we get these likes up. I'm going to recap. Number 1 was you've pushed them too far away, meaning you got a little too clingy, a little bit too codependent. You try to, take their freedom away from them, complained a lot. I see this a lot, where people are complaining about the person not showing up, and then they wonder why they break up with them. It's like, well, they kind of didn't feel emotionally safe, and they felt unappreciated. They didn't feel like you were valuing their time. And time is the most valuable thing you ever have in life. It's non-refundable. It's non-negotiable. You don't get it is negotiable. You don't get an instant rebate for your time. That's for sure. But that was number 1. Number 2, it's been at least 6 weeks, and you guys, if you go into all my videos, I talk a lot about, that 6-week no contact and what would you call it? Um, 6 weeks is also the time period where the separation anxiety peaks. It hits around that. Scientific studies have shown this. It peaks right around that 6 week mark. So if you're someone who is avoiding, you're trying to like repress this. You don't really feel like you're just working. You're in your hobbies. You're hanging out with friends. And a lot of people try to post their best life on their stories and stuff. How do you like? You like by, if you guys can help her out in the comment section. I'm trying to get to this. I appreciate that. All right, so let me answer some of these questions here. You can send some super chat money too. That worked. I won't be mad about that one. You didn't accept the break. All right. I feel like you have to walk on the eggshells with the DA. It's exhausting. It can be exhausting, but a lot of it is almost understanding where they're coming from and why they operate the way that they are. My ex responded a week into me going no contact. I gave him the breakup he wanted. He's wanting to be friends, but I'm triggered. Keep going no contact. What's his attachment? And there's so much to unpack there. Why does he want to be just friends? Did the relationship wane alone? Did the romance wane a long time ago? Were you guys just roommates? Were you living together? How long were you guys together? There was a bunch of different stuff here that I would need to know in order to kind of make a accurate analysis on what's going on. Ex monkey branch to another guy after a year of being together. She still has some photos of us on social media, and I still have her personal belongings. She hasn't reached out for it. I would wait. I wouldn't. If those things were really important to her, then she'd reach out to you. And this is one of the questions that a lot of people ask. They say, all right, I still have a lot of their stuff. Like, well, if their stuff was that important to them, they would break no contact and ask you for it. But here's the thing. When we're going through breakups, we try to make these excuses to reach out to that person. And it's kind of, you can see right through it, I guess. You can see right through what people are trying to do. And it's almost a way to, hear from that person. But essentially what you're doing is you're hurting yourself. You're basically you're breadcrumbing yourself. I'm up here reading this monkey branching comment. Brion, feel free to leave me a tip. I got one for you. This is a good one here. This is a good question. You broke up for a reason. Entertaining rekindling is unhealthy. If it was meant to be, it would have been salvaged. Yeah, there's so much there. I mean, when you think about counseling and how many people go into couples counseling, couples therapy, there's like one thing that can be tweaked that can save their relationship, but then they pretty much just throw it all away. I don't know if you guys remember the movie the Breakup with Vince Vaughn and I forgot who the lady was. Forgot her name. I'm terrible with actors' names, but all they had to do was communicate. It was just like so much miscommunication. It's like they were firing and missing each other. All they had to do is communicate. And by the time they finally realized that, whoa, we're about to lose this, there was so much resentment forming. There were so many issues that had stacked on top of each other. It was already too late. And they kind of opened the door back up in the end, which is, if you ever seen The Breakup, it's a cool movie. Jennifer Aniston, there it is. Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn. Yeah, which I like the movie. I think it's got a ton of really real life information and examples about how these breakups actually occur. Especially when ones where no one wants to be. I actually kind of broke that down. I think Vince Vaughn was an avoidant, and I actually think Jennifer Aniston might have been secure. So, that was an interesting movie. It was a good movie. I liked it. What was the question that I had here? I thought it was interesting. It was good. How do you do no contact? All right, there it is. Brion. I don't know if it's Brian or Brion, but how do you do no contact with no words when you have children together? You don't do no contact because the kids come first, right? It's called modified or abbreviated contact, I guess. So basically minimal contact. You only keep communication open about the kids, or depends on the type of dynamic of the relationship. You may need to have a third party involved to communicate with, if I don't know what your placement is with them, but you want to make sure that you go through that person, so you're not communicating as much as possible, because there's really no reason to. But also, it keeps that mystery alive. It keeps them a little bit wondering about you, and you actually get to center yourself, because if you're going through like a really messy breakup, like every time you see that person, your heart's probably going to be thumping, or the anxiety is going to be rushing. You're going to be feeling some type of way. So if you can keep that third party in there, maybe a parent or a friend of yours, and you can kind of just communicate through them, then I would suggest that. That's how you do it, essentially. But if you do have to talk to this person, let's say there's no third party, only keep the communication about the kids. No talking about your life, no talking about the raise you got, no talking about the new car you bought or whatever. Keep that all to yourself. It's essentially it's need to know information. They no longer in your life. They decided to change the terms of the relationship, and this is the results. You downgraded your Netflix subscription, so now you only get the trial version of it. You don't get the actual unlimited access, which is not even. I watch Disney Plus more than that now. So, I have my husband's car and some belongings. My dismissive husband hasn't asked for nothing better yet, nothing back yet. Could that mean he doesn't want to give up on our marriage? Together 10 years, married 5. So there could be a couple things going on there, Teresa, and one of them is he's avoiding Gray Rock. There it is. You know what it is, in Gray Rock. That's what you want to go. There can be a couple things going on there, because for most avoidance, they kind of like repress that. They don't want to deal with any emotionally heavy things. They may take some pictures off the wall and stuff, but things like getting your keys back, getting your belongings back, they'll freeze. It's like analysis paralysis. Like they don't know what to do, and they would rather not talk about it. And given that most of the time when they do break up with you, they're on the fence about it. They're really not quite sure if they're making the right decision. But if you force their hand, then they're going to go ahead and say, all right, we're just going to do it then. But if it's still kind of like in the air for them, and they're not quite sure the decision to make, and then there's something else too. If you've been married with this person for so long, I've also seen that that's a person that could be going through some type of crisis. And in a crisis, they don't know what to do. They don't know why they feel this way. They don't know what they really want in life. If this marriage is something that they still want to be in, they don't quite understand where they're at. So what's the name of the movie? The Breakup is what it's called. It's with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. It's a good movie. I actually like it. My now ex-wife is still going on, and plus Vince Vaughn's hilarious. My now ex-wife is still going on social media, posting hateful things about me, even though it's been over a year and being separated through. Why is this? Is she trying to get my attention? Well, clearly she's trying to get your attention. And I would imagine that this isn't the first thing that you've seen. This isn't the first time you've seen this behavior. This isn't the first lash out. It isn't the first lash out that you've seen. You've probably seen it in the past, so you may not be surprised by these actions of her. But it is most likely a cry for attention. And if I'm being honest, if I have to like peg that as like attachment style, which one is more likely to do that? Most likely would be a fearful avoidant. I see a lot of fearful avoidants that are deactivating, reactivating their accounts. They're posting negative things. They're lashing out, sometimes going directly at that person. And what it is it's usually someone who's experienced a certain amount of trauma in their life, that they don't know how to handle these difficult situations, and they'll just blow up on you. Appreciate the super sticker, man. Brion. What if you drop off their things at their doorstep? That might be a healthy thing to do. But just want to make sure that you give them a heads up that, hey, I'm leaving your stuff there, so no one comes and takes it. But I don't know how much this person values their space, because sometimes if you do that, they may feel highly violated, like you intruded in their space. So you want to make sure that you give them a heads up about it. If they don't reply, then you're still doing it anyway, because I gave you a heads up. So it's not like this is a surprise, but you don't want to just go over there and intrude on their space without giving them a heads up first. Would they be weird? How would they react? Honestly, the people that I've seen in the past, especially for someone that was in their deep repression and they're not trying to feel it, they usually respond with some type of anger, or annoyance, frustration, especially if they're on the fence about the breakup. So that might solidify it, because then they'll just be like, cut, don't want anything else to do with this person. Hey, Sandra, is Gray Rock like Stonewall and emotionally abusive? So it depends, right? So if you ever watch a lot of those, people who are like narcissistic experts and tell you how to deal with narcissists, because Gray Rock was a method that was created to deal with people who are narcissistic, because narcissists, they don't really care about your boundaries or any of those type things. They'll do whatever they have to do in order to get a response for you. So Gray Rock was actually introduced to deal with them, which is don't give them any fuel whatsoever, because any attention to a narcissistic person is good attention. So they say just go Gray Rock. It was actually a way to like show that, hey, I'm indifferent about all of this. I don't want to deal with you. Nothing you can say, nothing you can do is going to bother me. So essentially, that's how you want to deal with someone who you are trying to go no contact with. And this is for protection of your own emotional safety too, where you're not, you can come into a session with me and we have this game plan, and then that person message you where we say, all right, we're going to keep it no contact. We're going to keep responses at a bare minimum. We're not going to go and send 2 paragraphs when they send us 3 words. And this is usually for a person who can't get themselves centered. So, all right. So we got here. My bad. All right. Number 3. This leads me into that. You can break no contact when you're emotionally centered. All right. I got way off topic there. My apologies. I'm answering all these questions. Number 3 is you're back centered, which means you're in emotional self-control. Like I said, you're not texting them 3 paragraphs when they text you only 2 words. Like if they say thanks and you're like, oh, and you sending all these emojis and stuff, you're not centered yet. You're not ready to break no contact. Now, that time frame is different for everyone. You could be someone that is more secure and was more reserved when you get into contact with that person again. But first one is you've pushed them too far away. Second one is it's been at least 6 weeks that you haven't talked to them from the last time that you spoke to them or the last time you sent the message to them. 3 is you're back centered. You're in emotional self-control. You can't be bothered by the way that they're showing up. You're more neutral. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. So if you can show that indifference when you're having that conversation, or talking to me, or when you re-engage with them, you're in a good spot. And the 4th bonus one is if you've made them angry. All right. If you've made them angry. Now, if you were someone that, let's say, stepped out, if you were someone who showed up in an unhealthy way, let's say that you were the one that was the toxic one, then I would say it's okay for you to break that no contact first. Now, it's really good for a person to take a pause when you're doing your self-discovery and ask yourself, is this relationship that I want to continue? Because if you come to the conclusion where you have way more negatives than you have positives, you have to ask yourself, am I just unhealthily attached to this person? Or am I codependent on this person? What is it about this person that's making me want to get them back? Because I can tell you, more times than not, whenever I help someone get someone back, and usually the conversation goes like, I was going to break up with that person before anyway. It's just, they just broke up with me first. I was seeing a lot of red flags that didn't make me want to reach out to them. Like, but they broke up with you, and your ego was bruised. So you feel like I have to prove myself now, even though this relationship isn't going to be the one that's going to last. It's not going to be a fulfilling or a relationship that goes the distance, have longevity, like I posted on my Instagram today. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up with that. Those are the 4 things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recap one more time. Right, you've pushed them too far away. It's been at least 6 weeks since you haven't spoken to them, and since you haven't reached out to them. You're back centered. You're in emotional self-control. You're goose, namaste. You're ready for action. Game face on. And if you made them angry, because then you can reach out and do like a clean slate. I know a lot of people say don't do these clean slate letters. There's conditions for it, right? There are certain instances where it's okay to send a clean slate message, but not a clean slate letter. Because reason why I say it's a bad idea to do a clean slate letter is usually the energy that you put out there and the energy that you put into that letter, it's not going to be received the same way, and it's going to make you feel some type of way. It's going to make you angry that they don't care as much about the letter, or they don't respond, or they don't reciprocate the way that you think that they should. Because most people subconsciously are expecting some type of outcome when they have this letter and they write this letter to them, and it doesn't usually turn out that way. More is more like an indifference response, and that just drives people nuts. So I don't want you to put yourself in that position, because expectations are premeditated resentments. So I love all you guys. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Super sticker. It's Brian. So why in the world? So why you got to brie on like that? You getting fancy with it. All right, Brian. I appreciate the super chat. How do you know if you're unhealthy attached or codependent? Well, I'm no therapist, but insecure attachment and codependency, I believe, are cousins. I have a book that's talking about just that. It's almost the same thing. So analyze that. Take a notepad, take a journal, write down what it is about this person that's good. What are they bringing to your life? And write down the things that you wish you had, the things that are lacking. And if this is far outnumbered over here, it's codependent. Codependent is, there's a book you guys should read. It's called Codependent No More. It's a good book. It was actually on a TV show that I saw, and I've recommended it to a ton of clients. So check that book out. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Namaste. You always remember this, go be love. You'll never have to find it. Peace.